For sure.
Technology.
Yes.
Technology. Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is 1:30, so I think we'll get started. We do have 25 people who have registered, but if they're not able to join, we can just send them the recording after. So my name is Jessica Rorston, and I'm working with the IBDS program and Sage Hill Community Futures to help facilitate the production of these webinars. Before we get started, I just want to read off a land acknowledgement. So as we gather here today, we acknowledge that we are on Treaty 6 territory and homeland of the Métis, and we pay our respects to the First Nations and Métis ancestors of this place and reaffirm our relationship with one another. So thanks again, everybody, for joining. And Jenny Glessman from Sage Hill is just going to welcome you all to the meeting today as well.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. On behalf of Sage Hill Community Futures and IBDS, we're glad to be out on this cold day. We're all warm and cozy in our offices and homes, which is great. And we've had a couple of little glitches getting started, but I think we've got that all ironed out. We're excited to learn about TikTok. We've had this, a couple of sessions on this. It's always so much to learn. So we're glad to sit back. We're going to turn it over to our presenter, and we're ready to learn.
Awesome. Yeah, hello everyone. In case you haven't met me before, Happy New Year. My name's Fian Obayan, and my company is called Okiki Consulting. And it's all about helping brands to be able to tell their stories through video content, which really ties into the workshop today, because we're going to talk about video content. We're also going to talk about TikTok primarily. Before I get into it though, actually, maybe I should have shared screen already. Before I get into it, I just want to see where everyone's at in this group in terms of your comfort level with creating video content and in terms of your comfort level with TikTok as an app as well. So if you don't mind putting in the chat between 1 to 5, with 5 being like you use this all the time, you're super comfortable, you know all the features, and 1 being like I don't even know how to get started. So I'd love to see a range if everyone could write that in the chat, and if you want to speak, you can do that too. I do like to see as interactive as possible.
Oh, well,
Awesome.
I put 0, and I see a couple others have done that. We have a 3. I think my team and I are about a 3, and then we've got 3 zeros.
2.
Oh, and now a 2.
Okay. Hey, we're moving right along.
All right.
Oh, and another 0.
Okay, great. So I think that gives a good warm up to kind of get into like basic foundations of video content in general, before we even tap into TikTok, which we will as well in this session. I also want to ask, are any of you currently creating video content on other platforms? So that being like Instagram Reels and specifically short form vertical content. Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. And if you are, type yes in the chat. And if you aren't, type no. Okay. Okay, so Lorian, I feel like you have some experience there. That's awesome. Yes, well, Facebook. Okay. So hopefully we can make this fun, just kind of a refresher, and then also really go into like basic foundations around TikTok as well. So as I mentioned before, with my company, I really focus on empowering brands to tell their stories through video content. And I think it's really important that people just have a basic foundation of why you're doing this and how we're doing this. So yeah, we kind of already brushed over what the topics will be and who I am in this. And now let's talk about you. And so how do we want to promote your brand? So really, as you know, the full brand experience is everything from what people experience on your website to content, to logos, to colors, and including your customer experience. And what video does is it really allows people to know you and have a brand voice even virtually. So they feel like they know you before they've even met you. And a lot of times, because most people are emotional buyers, if they can connect with your brand through a video, if they can sense your personality through that, they're able to make those decisions well before they've ever connected with you. And that's why this is really important. This is an extension of who do you want to show up as for your brand persona group. So really, you're telling your brand story, which is your promise to your clients, to your customers, of what they should expect when they're working with you. And you're also the brand story that answers their questions. So when they're looking for a brand, when they're looking for a particular product or service, and they've been searching, the communication that you're creating through your videos or through your content and through your brand story should be answering their questions, so that they're looking for something and they see what you're saying and it's just answering what they've already been searching for in their mind. That is the perfect brand and customer relationship. So that's why it's really important to know who your brand persona is. I just want to make sure, can you guys hear me very well? Okay. So think about all of these factors. Where do they live? Where do they consume content? Their age, their gender, all of this ties into how they are interacting with you. And also, of course, their psychographics. Are they the types of people that like to stay up late at night to consume content? Are your brand personas people that want the funny content, or are they the brand persona that really wants to have deep research and be very much educated? So it really depends on your brand, your story, and what your personas want. So I'm going to actually take a brief break on this. Yeah, I'm going to take a brief break on this, and I want to know, what are all your businesses? And who would you say, if you were to tell me today what your business is, what would you say is your kind of elevator pitch, the promise that you have for your brand persona? So if you could say, this is my business, this is either the product or service that I offer, and what is the outcome that I promise to my brand personas? And if people aren't familiar with brand personas, that is your target audience, that group that you're trying to connect with. So I love this. So you wrote, we craft happiness. So is your business related to art? I'm going to take a guess based on that messaging. Okay, awesome. Okay, I love that. And thank you to Lorian and Jessica. But yeah, working together for a sustainable future. And also, we craft happiness. Real rock band lessons. Make your own music. Amazing. You all have these amazing, yeah. So people know what to expect when they're working with you, right? They know this is the goal, this is the outcome. Another factor to think about, that I don't touch too much on this because this is more, again, about TikTok, is whether, knowing where your brand personas, what they are. So again, if it's like B2C, are you communicating to an individual customer? Or B2B, are you communicating to an organization? Again, this influences where you show up, how you show up, what type of content you're creating, right? Because I'm thinking of the waste management one. I'm assuming you're also talking to organizations, not just individuals. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But in that case, you may have to provide even a different type of content piece, right? Because it's really educational. It's about that partnership. It's very different than speaking to an individual and saying, hey, are you ready for your next craft project, right? So really, depending on your audience, they may need different levels of information, and that ties into your video as well. And so I just want everyone to start thinking about that. And I love the rock band lessons, make your own music, right? Again, because I want you to think about that as holistic and beauty, energy, cleansing, mist, and wellness. Awesome. So definitely keep thinking about that because that ties into why you're creating content and what type of content you're creating. So we're going to go back into the presentation. So thank you everyone for sharing. Okay, so content foundations. So again, just start to think of your video and your content as an extension of your message. A lot of times we can think video is intimidating. It doesn't have to be. So long as you're speaking to your audience and answering their questions, it's actually an amazing opportunity to expand what you would have said in that one sentence and make it like pieces of information. And how much better than to educate your audience on not only what they're looking for, but as you're giving them that, they're already getting a service from you, and then they'll want to connect with you further for the service you actually provide. So with TikTok, we have 1.4 billion monthly users. These are like older statistics, so this is only going up. And that's why TikTok primarily, of course, it's the younger audience that's on there. But out of 1.8 billion monthly users as of 2023, even the percentages that fit the higher demographics, there's still a big number there. But if we go back to, again, where your brand persona lives, where they consume content, this is where I would look at TikTok again. TikTok does have ability to make content that's central to your location, but it also has the ability to make content that reaches a far-reaching audience all over the world. And so looking at your business and thinking about where your brand persona is or what you can handle as a scale-wise, those are things to think about as well. But it can also be targeted locally with hashtags and different things like that. Okay, so best practices for video. You can start with a hook, something that draws people's attention. Maybe it's something that they've already been asking a question of. You just want to capture their attention right away. And so, for the craft one, maybe it's like, have you got your supplies for 2024, or have you started your new projects for 2024? Something that's already like on their mind, capturing their attention, that would bring them in, right? And I'm sure there's a lot of ideas you can think of for waste management, for the rock music as well. There's a lot of ideas that you could go through on that.
We also have someone on
and
who
then
has
introduce yourself, showcase your person. Oh,
sorry, there was just one more comment that we missed another business. She has a holistic and beauty energy. She does energy cleansing mists and wellness. So we've got another different one.
Awesome. Awesome. So for all of you in this case, and also this can go a lot of ways, but if you are a solopreneur on this call, introduce yourself, showcase your personality, and begin to expand on what that elevator pitch is of what you are promising to your customers, and expand on it by what you give in value through content. That value can be educational. That value could be talking about what that client is looking for. And if you have a team, even funner. As a team, you can become the brand voice to introduce yourselves, your company, and why you as a team are effective at delivering that promise. So yes, so think of the call to actions. When you do create this video, what is the call to action? Even sometimes people make funny videos and there's still a call to action. Sometimes it's, read the caption. Sometimes it's like, click today. Just think about that as you're creating content. Okay, so here are a lot of different ideas. And because this is being recorded, and I also always follow up these workshops by providing these slides, you could see and start to think of ideas of different ways you can have call to actions with your content as well. And just a few more for you all. Okay, so this is just some extra information about video platform content. I won't spend a ton of time on that just because we are talking about TikTok, but to plan it out. And so plan it out at different levels. Something to think about is even the stage that your brand persona is in. Are they just learning about you, awareness, or are they know about you and they're just kind of questioning? Then you can add a little more content to get them interested. So think of the different like stages that they are in, and that could also affect the content. Or when they're about to be the end user, maybe by then they've done their research and you're really answering the direct questions of their research. So content really can expand because you can go from everywhere from here I am, here's my company, here's how to know about me, to okay, you've looked and you've searched and you've looked for these answers, and I'm going to answer these very technical questions you have. And the fact that you've proven that you can do that makes them then sign up with you. So check your lighting as you're making video. You can use natural light, but just make sure you're well lit and that they can see you well through your and you can start even with your cell phone, right? And just make sure that you're well lit and that clients can see you. Maintain your eye contact. That's another thing. And check your audio. You can also use you can also use different kind of external audio options for your phone if you're finding that your phone doesn't directly capture your audio very well, and just try and find a quiet space as well. But definitely getting some of these different wireless mics that go with phones can really support that process. And show up authentically as well. So types of content that you can create. This first one we already kind of talked about. You can have content that's like your elevator pitch. So you're literally introducing yourself to your clients and you're talking about the kind of services you offer or the kind of products you offer. That is a form of content. Educational content. So again, I'm just thinking of the energy mist, the energy healing. So when you are speaking to your audience, you're probably speaking to people who are already looking for something like that. So what is making your product a unique experience for them? What have you added to the mists that's interesting? Where are you sourcing the different scents from? So these are types of content that you can create that they would find really interesting. Story time, get to know me. So you can talk about even how you got into this space, or, you know, for the arts and crafts, why are you interested in something like that? And what kind of crafts do you like to make? And again, these are just different ideas to draw upon. These are more technical things. I'll skip through it more, but if you are filming and you have an iPhone and a newest one, I recommend using cinematic mode. And if you are using Android, I recommend using the portrait video mode. That definitely helps you get higher quality video. And then here are just some other apps as well that can support you if you want to use other features outside of TikTok. And now we're going to drop into TikTok, but are there any questions so far? Okay, there's not, we'll get into it. So with TikToks, there are the TikToks. They have expanded. It started as 30 seconds. Then they have 60 seconds. I think it, there's 3 minutes, and I think it could almost go as long as 10 minutes on some cases now. We have TikTok lives and we have TikTok stories. Another thing I will say though, with TikTok is that if you are a government worker, you can't use TikTok in relation to that work. So that is just a disclaimer there. But outside of that, with your business, you can. Okay, so just some words here, and then I'll show some video examples. But with TikTok, it's really good to look at that you can have different features. Like you could have your audio. When editing the app, you could work with effects, different video lengths. You could work with trending music and hashtags. So getting started, if you go into the App Store, you could then go into account settings and you can choose between private versus public, personal versus business. Again, if you're using this for business purposes, probably want public and then business. The thing with business is that it gives you access to analytics. And that's really the important thing here. is that you're accessing the analytics to be able to track how the audiences are responding to your content. Another thing with a business account is that it does affect how you can use commercial songs, as opposed to a personal account where you could use any trending song. So that's another disclaimer there, to think about how you want to approach it. But that is one thing with business. Whereas like on Instagram, if you sign up as an entrepreneur, you can still use those commercial songs. Okay, so you could toggle around with video lengths. Okay, so the 10 minutes not there, but as I mentioned before, there's like 15 seconds, there's 60 seconds, there's 3 minutes. So again, you can play around with content. And the fun thing with this type of content is that it is such short bites. So you're able to plan ahead and do a lot of different things. With that being said, I'm just going to go back a bit. You could also, yes. So what I was trying to show there is that you could toggle with audios. So if you want to try different audios, or even if you had your own audio and you want to be able to edit on top, you could do that all within the app. So we can look at that briefly. So as you can see, you can toggle between original sound and added sound. Another thing you can do is add text and captions. So this is me directly adding a text, but if you press the caption button, and let's say I was speaking in this video, it would actually create captions of what I'm saying. So again, for some of you, that might be an amazing feature to have. You might be explaining something that has a lot of detail, and if the caption words are following what you're saying, then that helps the audience as well. On top of that, you can correct that if any of them are not representing what you're saying properly. So this is a feature just within the TikTok app itself. Special effects. So you can also choose from a range of special effects. And in my case, in this example I have in this video, I'm just on I'm just on a deck, so there's nothing too interesting to see in terms of the video, but you can just see the number of effects that you can play around with. So one of the things that has made TikTok stand out as an app with the other apps is that they've really kind of either embraced features from like Snapchat, like in terms of filters, or even and actually taken that even further and really pioneered the idea of like the extent of in-app editing that is possible. So again, you can do a lot of these things right in app without having to use anything external. Another factor is that you can play around with stickers. So if you want to mention something, if you want to hashtag something, if there's a theme, if there's a specific day, you can also find stickers and have that in your post. And for the use of hashtags, generally it's recommended that you use 3 or 4 at most on TikTok. And one of the most important hashtags to use on TikTok is the For You page, because what TikTok has done with the For You page hashtag is that for each person's experience on TikTok, it is a unique experience for them because the algorithm is that strong. So my TikTok is going to look different from my sister's TikTok because it's solely based on what I consume. And why is that important? Because again, we're talking about brand personas and the type of content that you're making and whether you're answering their questions. And so if you have a flow of content that's really speaking to an audience and it shows up on their For You page, they're even more primed to receive that content. So definitely people who have posted, oh, I got here from For You page because it was curated specially for them. And this is the other piece I was talking about, is really thinking about where your audience is as well. If you have a very local audience, trying to also use local hashtags so that you're sure that it's showing up to them. You can also tag people, and you can also tag your location, because then TikTok tries to start it from where you are graphically before they expand out. Now, I know I've shared a few pieces, so I just want to take a pause again, see if there's any other questions at the moment. All right. Another thing furthermore is you can decide who can watch it. Again, assuming you're probably trying to promote, you'd want everyone. And you can also allow for comments if you'd like, or the ability for the user to use your video in different ways. So there's stitching, sometimes to duet a video, they want to react to a video. So if your video is in a position where you want that to happen, you can decide that as well. And of course, I accept the music usage confirmation. And again, just going back to what we were mentioning before, that when you are in business mode, there is specific types of music that is available to you as opposed to like a trending song. With that being said, there are thousands of tracks that are still available, but that is just something to note. Oh, is there a comment? Yeah, sorry, I can't read the chat, but is there
No, it's okay.
anything?
It just says this is all really pertinent information. Thank you. So we're good.
Okay. Oh, awesome, awesome. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Okay, most popular TikTok categories. This might be useful for some of you. So some of you have already mentioned some of this today, but you know, the beauty and skincare. We also have life hacks and advice. So, and then we have DIY or home renovation. So I could see that going for the crafts, for example. And just because you don't see this on the top trending doesn't mean there can't be a way to integrate what you do. I know there's a talk about waste management, for example. And what's interesting about waste management is it's about sustainability. It's about, you know, nature. And so there is opportunities for that. A lot of nature videos do very well on TikTok, right? People just going on hikes, people just showing the beauty of the outdoors. And so some of your content could even tie into why is it important and what do we love about the world that we get to experience right now. And so there's a lot of ways to work around that. And so starting to think outside the box as well as to fitness and recreation, especially if it's outdoors. Working with influencers. I haven't tied into this too much, but I think influencer marketing could also be underrated. And I'm not talking about, although in beauty and skincare, I think it's pretty obvious how people have worked with influencers, right? But I think it can show up in a lot of ways in a lot of industries. And I think it's just anyone who, again, can answer those questions for your brand persona that is a trusted source that aligns with your brand. So the influencer in the fitness or outdoor camping space could be very different than the influencer in the beauty space, but it doesn't mean they aren't an influencer, you know, or the cooking space. So just keep that in mind and have an open mind about that. Another thing with influencers is it doesn't have to be the person that has a million followers. A lot of brands are actually working with micro and nano influencers because they're actually seen as more trusted to those communities in terms of the information they share. And some of them are getting, if not most of them, are getting much better results. Because if you think about it, that influencer that maybe has a million followers, if you compare how much are they actually getting the brand in sales, that doesn't always translate because people might like following their page, but they might not like everything they're talking about. So those are other things to think about as well. And tie into content creation. Okay, so the role of a video for product based, this is really exciting for me because there's a few of you that have products. And that's by far, I think, one of the easiest ways to create content because you have so many types of ways to show content. So let's kind of go into some examples. I'm going to show some examples right now. So if you're creating a product, for example, you can show a process video. So let me know if you can see this example I'm about to share. If you can see my screen, let me know. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
Oh, might be asking me to sign on here. Hold on, hold on. Um, Let me do that again. Okay. Sorry, guys, 1 second.
Technology.
Yes,
I think the cold weather has kind of froze everything up today.
I think so. Normally
Yeah.
that's very fast for me. I will just get that going here. Um, That's very loud. Um, hmm. Okay, it's not bugging me now. I don't know. Okay, so this is one of the videos. So this is what we call a process video, right? So if I can restart it for you all. So I'm thinking of the person who has the crafts, right? So you can show a process video like this, and you're already doing what you would have been doing anyways. But the thing is, you're inviting your followers into the process. They're getting inspired. They're seeing how you're doing it, and they also will want to do it for themselves. So just checking that everyone can see this video.
Yes.
Okay, great. So
Yeah.
then we're going to go into before and after. All right. All right. So this is someone showing before and after with some of their work that they're doing on the car. And they're showing the effectiveness of the products, right? So very straightforward. Is work they would have already been doing anyways. And they're letting you know that this product works and they're answering a question. I have some examples here that show reels, but these are examples that could translate to both. So I picked this one because it was showing inventory. So in this case, if you have, you know, a vast amount of different products, you can show that. So I'm thinking of, again, the energy mist. I'm thinking of the craft store, right? I'm thinking even for the music lessons, maybe you're showing the different types of instruments that you have that you teach on, or showing, you know, the different teachers. Like there's just different ways to show different things going on that people can get excited about. And the last but not least, we have announcement. I'm trying to remember what this one is.
Can't really hear it, but can see it.
Okay. Not sure why the volume. Can you hear it now?
6 shades, and I need to give my factory the Pantone
Yes.
shade. So
That's better.
it's going to happen. I want to know your idea of the perfect blush shade, but we need to know Pantone numbers. So have a little gander at Pantones and let me know in the comments. Then I'm going to look through the comments, fix things. It's going to be so hard. And this is the part where it's going to be such a cool opportunity. If I pick
So, although I think and I actually forgot about what the dialect of where this person was from, but essentially she's just talking about that she's worked on these blushes and she's like, this is how the blushes look, and she's actually asking her audience directly, what colors do you think we should make? And can you put like even the Pantone colors like in the comments, and we're gonna pick 6. So that's like a very direct interaction with the brand persona, showing the product and also engaging them even in the process. So that's another way through announcement. Okay, so moving forward, now looking at the role of video for service-based. And so again, not only can video support in your video content, it can go further into courses, into tutorials, into promotions. So these examples are really great for service-based, for teams, for like B2B service type of videos or experiences where video content can tie in really well. So the first one we have here, for example, is educational video. Let me know if you can hear this.
Very faint.
Hmm.
No, not really.
Yeah.
Can't hear it very well. Okay,
No.
I'm gonna stop share and just see if there's anything I have to press in the share setting to make this better. Okay, let me know if you can hear it better now.
If you're a real estate agent and you want to make
Yes,
that dough,
yes.
you've got to sell those homes. Let me show you how you can sell more homes in just 4 steps by using this amazing software. First, download PropStream. Then, go into the search bar and enter the region you're selling real estate in. Chicago, LA, Miami, any region or zip code works. Then press off market so you could find properties with owners who are most likely to sell with an agent. If you want, you could even filter your search. You can see the amount of time an owner has owned a home. You can even filter to check if the owner's a senior. You could check for expired listings. You could check for property types like condo, homes, or revenue properties. And so many more options that can help you find motivated sellers and buyers. You can filter everything with this software and it'll bring you more leads than ever. Next, use the skip tracing tool to get the property owner's info. Finally, give them a call and make them list with you. And that's how you find your dream clients in just 4 steps so you can sell more properties.
So yes, so that's an example of educational. There's 2 reasons why I showed that example. Do I expect everyone to be that animated in their videos? No. Like if that's not you, that's fine. But one thing I did like about this particular content creator is that a lot of people will say, oh, TikTok is only like, they only want to see young people, they only want to see like a specific demographic. And that's why I was trying to show that although they are the biggest demographic that consumes it, there's still, you know, 25% that are between 25 and 34. There's still like another around 20-ish% that are between 44 and up. So that's still a lot of people out of 1.8 billion monthly users. And also the fact that that was an educational video. So she's clearly teaching on a very specific topic and giving educational information, and as a result has a lot of followers because she's just giving insight on things that people don't always know, but someone may be looking for those questions. So that's another thing to think about. So this one is behind the scenes.
A day in the life of a small business owner. The first thing that I do is update the number of days until Christmas, and then I buy all the shipping labels for the day and print them out. Whilst those are printing, I usually reply back to emails and customers. I get my Oz Post bag ready to go and start packing. You guys know how my packing videos go, so I won't show you them all, but once that's packed, pop it in the bag, have another sip of water, a candy cane, then I start packing up. Sweep the floor a little bit, and then put everything back the way it was. Then I close up shop and I'm off to the post office. The amazing Lily at my local post office scans all your parcels and off they go. Then I head home, have some lunch, and do a whole bunch of admin.
So in that one, she was showing a day in the life of a business owner, and that's what she would have been doing anyways, right? But the thing is that video has like 41,000 likes. People see what she's up to. They see what type of product is she working on. And again, it expands that curiosity. I do also apologize. That is not a service provider video in that sense, but a behind the scenes video. So that was just a bit of a mix up there. But as a service provider, if you're talking about behind the scenes, that could be something like sharing like a day at the office or meet my team, or this is us working on a project. So there are a lot of ways to do behind the scenes, even from a service provider perspective. Maybe it's you preparing for a presentation. If some of you do presentations or speaking engagements, maybe it's you getting ready. So again, those are different ways to bring that in. This
Answer is no. What do you got?
Do you remember me?
Not Taylor.
I am Taylor.
Not Taylor.
See, he knew my name. 8 years later, what do you think is the reason that you did business with me when I came and knocked on your door? And
I haven't had a light bill in 8 years.
felt sorry for me. Don't believe you remembered my name.
So anyways, that was a bit of a funny video, but that was example, and you can have more specific examples again of client interviews where you're directly interviewing your clients and asking them about their experience. So I think this is good for so many businesses, but definitely for service businesses, this is essential because it's not always tangible things that people can see. People can see results, people can see the case studies, and then for the case studies to be even more reinforced is when the clients talk about their experience with working with you. And even that can be a form of video. So if you're able to get clients who are willing to share about what they've experienced with you, that also ties in. PR for your brand.
So from the beginning, I fully realized that the world did not need another lipstick brand or beauty brand, but what it did need was a brand that was really focused on Indigenous people. And when I was doing all of the research and learning how much our communities really needed support, even from a financial perspective, that was the first way I felt like that I could do something, was like we could create a product, use a portion of that profits and support organizations. So since the beginning, 2016, we have donated over 150,000 back to organizations that support Indigenous youth and their education.
So that was a good example of a brand that is connecting with PR. So they were on the show, The Social, and they were able to really showcase what their brand was about and tie it to specific topics. So for some of you, you can actually get on the news, get on the radio, get an interview, and have that be a form of content as well that you can also post. So these pieces of content examples are there for you. Also at the beginning, we talked about, your elevator pitch. We talked about get to know me. We also talked about, we had elevator pitch, get to know me. And we also talked a bit about behind the scenes, right? A little bit. So we have different examples for you all to see. Again, I'm going to send these slides so you can check through the videos for yourself and kind of get inspired and get different ideas and test them out with your audience. So next, then once you're starting to really roll out these videos, really start to analyze your data. What are they responding to? Because at times people say like, oh, you should post at this time of day or that time of day. Well, it depends on your audience. For some of you, your audience might pay the most attention if you post at 10 a.m. For others, maybe they pay the most attention if it's scheduled for 7 p.m. So it's really to start paying attention to the data of like the type of content you're posting, what are they most engaged with, and what in that content is getting you the results that you are looking for as well. Is there a type of content that are leading to phone calls, conversations, leads? Those are all things to analyze as you post content. how often you post. Yeah, so of course there's recommendations from Hootsuite and different sources, but again, it's really paying attention to your audience. If you're posting twice a day, is that enough for them? Are they the audience that seems to want more? And of course, it depends what your capacity is as well. So again, begin to analyze your analytics, really pay attention. This will also kind of give more demographic information on your persona. And this will also help you because maybe you are looking for a specific persona, especially if you're thinking of like a specific age demographic or bracket, and maybe they're not really connecting with your content. So sometimes these analytics can help you make adjustments as well. Okay, so I feel like I've done a lot of talking based on the overview today. Where do you think you'll start? And let me know in the comments.
一会儿上去，一会儿去，5点钟去。
Hello?
Hi.
Okay. I didn't know if that was a response, but yes, based on the information we shared today, where do you think you all will start? And would love to hear your thoughts in the chat. And if some of you were at a 0 before, where do you feel you are now? I'd love to see your comments in the chat, or you could even say it out loud if you want.
One of the comments here is, I think we would start with who we are and what our goal is. And then somebody else said, I feel like I could start checking out the app and gathering ideas for content, which is great. Another one is, if we wanted a more advanced class on analytics or the when, how demographics, how would we do that?
For sure. Yeah, these are all great. Let me start with definitely knowing who you are and what your goal is super important, and knowing more about your brand persona. I'm assuming you're all here today because maybe you know for sure that your brand persona or your goals are aligned with TikTok. But even then, continue to evaluate more and just really evaluate if you are on multiple platforms, what platforms are you using? What platforms is your persona responding the most to? Are you appealing to demographics you really want to appeal to? And are you answering your brand persona's questions, their story? Are you like the promise to what they're looking for? So again, really understand them, and that helps you as well. So understand who you are, understand who they are, and then align that way. Yeah, definitely start gathering ideas, especially for a lot of you product-based businesses. Like I said, I feel like it's easiest for you because a lot of times they just need to see what it is you're offering. And really that customer experience will tie into, like, are they getting their shipments? Do you have good customer service? Is the product giving the quality that they see online? That's really another piece for product that really ties into this whole experience, because you could sell very well through your content, but how are you continuing that promise even as they receive what you're creating, that, okay, this is good, I want to come back and get more. And it does allow opportunities for repeats, let's say you have a specific brand look and you're like, oh, we have a new line or we have this, then they'll get excited again. And then the last question, well, I know this is the workshop I'm currently doing community features, so I'll leave that with them.
I would say this is where I might jump in and say we do have a survey, right, Jessica, that will come up at the end. We're always looking for what the clients are wanting and needing in workshops and stuff. So this is definitely something that Jessica and I will write down. We are conveniently just working on our next year's content. So we're always interested in ideas that the clients are looking for. So this is one we will put down.
Awesome. Yeah, for sure. And also wanting to check too, in the comments and with the brands, I know quite a few of you mentioned a bit of what you do, but for a lot of you, would you say you skew more service-based or product-based with your brand as well? Okay, Lucy's service.
I'm thinking
just with service.
Service. Yep.
What about Mandy?
Product, Jenny said. Mandy said
service.
Service.
Okay. Quite a bit service too. Product moving to
And then
service.
Lorianne said product moving to service. Yeah.
Really interesting. I'm not sure I saw Lucy post before, so maybe starting with you, what type of business do you have in the service space as well? Products alongside. Okay. Thanks, Mandy. If you're willing to share. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
that's
Thank you.
that's the
Thanks
rock
for
band
reminding
lesson.
me. Yes. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's a great one. And what's really neat about that, there's this one huge YouTube influencer now, and her name's Cheryl Porter, and she is a voice teacher, but she has become one of the biggest voice teachers because she would start to show the transformation process of a lesson as a YouTube video, which is genius because you're seeing someone, they come into the voice lesson, they're a little shy. She's working with them, and by the end, they're just growth. So anyone who sees that, who wants voice lessons, like maybe by the end, you can see the person singing a note they never thought they could sing. And then, of course, people want to sign up. So if I tell you today, now as of 2024, she has around 10 million subscribers. And this is someone who is not a millennial, and she started YouTube probably 4 years ago. And so this is someone who's starting this way, like she was surprised she was even getting attention on YouTube. So that's just an example of like, are you answering a question? It turns out there's a lot of people all around the world who wanted those lessons. So again, thinking of the transformation process, I know sometimes you're dealing with kids, so I don't know how she works around that because sometimes she has kids in the video, she has adults in the video, but at least showing the growth, showing different pieces, that could be helpful. Jessica, I'm gonna try and remember as I go through the chat. You had the waste management. Yes. So do you find that you work more? Yeah, do you find that you work more with B2B? And how have you communicated your content in the past? Oh, okay. For Jessica, if you're comfortable sharing.
Oh, she says, am I unmuted? She says we are in 48 communities and are as of now we are only have a Facebook page.
Okay. Awesome. So you work directly with communities then? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Is this situations where you have to talk to like mayors or any like major admin kind of conversations as well?
I was gonna say, if anybody wants to unmute and talk to, go right ahead.
Yes.
It doesn't have to stay in the chat.
For sure. Yes, and with residential clients. Okay, awesome. So the Facebook makes sense. I could also see LinkedIn making sense in terms of like the officials that you are talking to as a place. And of course, if you're using TikTok, they tend to they've discouraged government workers from using TikTok. But what I could say is that if you're trying to encourage communities to get more involved in waste, they'll probably use it. So that could be another space to show up on and say, this is why this matters and showing the nature and different things. Again, that goes down to capacity on your team, but that's another way to go about it. So you kind of have like the officials you're speaking to, which definitely a lot of them would also be on LinkedIn. And then, yeah, communities, they tend to be also on Facebook. So Facebook's not a bad place to be. And then how are you making that engaging content as well? Just want to make sure. So Lorian, product moving to service. So yes, if you can remind me what yours was and why that change is happening, or if you don't have too much oh yeah, sorry, you had the craft shop. So okay. And also, this is not to say you can't be both. You can also be both if you can do it. Yes, craft shop, but we're moving to classes. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, what I love about that is, again, there's this artist online. He works with chocolate primarily, but his name's Amory Guidon. And similar thing, he's showing transformations he's doing with chocolate. And I'd say he even got more followers in less time than the singing lady that I mentioned. And it's literally him just showing the process. That's all his videos. You never hear him talk. He's just showing before and after. So one thing that captures people is what he's able to create. And so even with your craft shop, even if you do want to show transformation processes, art that can be created, and then you can link that to products you sell. Like you can create this too. Then you could even have the best of both worlds because people are seeing it. Maybe they want to make it at home or make their own projects. So thinking of content as like communication. Yeah, I can drop him in the chat. But he's very talented, and yeah, just thinking outside the box, like how does content communicate? And then also you can say with those videos, I can teach you how to do this. Like for example, there's a lady that I follow that she makes amazing visual effects. And so she'll just drop high level visual effects on Instagram as if it's a regular day of the week. And she does this for TV networks, but she'll make micro videos for Instagram. So of course people see it, they're like, what is going on here? Like she's sitting on a skyscraper and it looks real. And she's like, yeah, if you want to learn how to do this, sign up for my class. Of course, people are going to sign up because they want to learn, right? Including myself. So that's just different ways to think about how content can be used and really draw people into a result. So thinking of that call to action, thinking of where it's leading that customer. So that's the YouTube of that chocolatier. Yeah. So yeah, supplying craft items to customers as well, teach them how to use it. So exactly what I described, that is what you can do, right? You're showing them something that can really stand out to them. And then you're like, as you're showing the video, here are the products, here's the product links, hand in hand. It's even better because a lot of people who make content link to products where they're affiliate marketers, but it's not even there. So imagine you're getting all of the revenue. You're getting the views, you're getting the revenue from the products that they already need to create it. Yes, the visual artist name. I'm trying to remember her off the top of my head. I'll have to go through my Instagram to check it. What I could do is also email, I think her name's Jenny something, but I could email it with this presentation as well.
Yeah, or just email it to me and then I can send it out.
Yes, for sure. I do apologize if I haven't got it to everyone. I know the time's coming up. I know, oh, Maddie, you were the last one, products alongside. So I don't know what products you had, but again, I hope this at least helped you touch base to think about how powerful video content could actually be and how it expands to your brand and lets people know what you have to offer. So I hope this at least has been a good start for all of you, has stimulated some inspiration.
This has been great. I think, like I said, I was one of the ones that said 0. My husband and I have a lumber yard, and but now just listening to your examples, the wheels are just turning of the things that that you could try, especially in our lumber yard. There's so many things that people want to know how to do, and he's got
Exactly.
the products, so we could show the two things together. So in my world, this has really helped. And I think just from the questions and everything, this has been really good. Helps us start thinking outside the box a little bit.
Yes, for sure. I'm so happy to hear that. Like content should be something that just bubbles out and is so fun. And the more you think about it, the more you're like, oh, I could talk about this. I can talk about that. And the more you put out there, the more the audience can connect with you as well. So I'm definitely so happy that you got something out of this session. Definitely will follow up with I'll send my presentation. I'll look for that visual artist. I do follow her. I just can't remember. I follow a lot of people off the top of my head. And I'm hoping that you're able to build from this for your businesses. So yeah, thank you again, Community Futures, for the opportunity.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And thanks everybody for joining us today. This was a great session, and we look forward to seeing everybody out and just keep following our Facebook page. You'll see what our sessions are as they're coming forward. So have a great day. Stay warm, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.